When Sarah and David first laid eyes on the quaint house in Maple Grove, they were entranced. Nestled among towering trees and surrounded by a lush garden, the Victorian-style home seemed like a dream come true. The couple had been searching for a place to escape the hustle and bustle of city life, and this house, with its charming architecture and serene setting, felt perfect. Little did they know, the house held dark secrets that would soon unravel. Upon moving in, they noticed a peculiar chill that lingered in the air, even on warm days. As they unpacked boxes, the atmosphere grew heavier, a sense of unease settling over them. The locals had warned them about the house's history, mentioning in hushed tones the family that had mysteriously vanished decades ago. But Sarah and David brushed off the tales as mere superstition, eager to start their new life. That first night, as the couple settled into their new home, Sarah awoke to the sound of soft whispers echoing through the halls. She strained to listen, but the words were indistinct, like a forgotten memory just out of reach. David, still asleep beside her, stirred slightly but remained in a deep slumber. Trying to shake off her unease, Sarah turned over and closed her eyes, hoping it was just her imagination. As days turned into weeks, the whispers grew louder, accompanied by cold spots that seemed to follow them throughout the house. One evening, while preparing dinner, Sarah felt a sudden chill sweep through the kitchen. She turned to see a shadow darting past the window, but when she looked outside, there was nothing but the darkened garden. "Did you see that?" she asked David, who was engrossed in a book. He looked up, puzzled. "See what?" Things escalated quickly. They began to experience strange occurrences, doors creaking open on their own, lights flickering, and objects inexplicably moving from one place to another. One night, Sarah was drawn to the attic, a place she had avoided until now. The door creaked as she opened it, revealing a dusty room filled with forgotten relics of the past. In the corner, she found an old trunk. Curiosity piqued, she opened it to find faded photographs of a family, smiling faces frozen in time. As she examined the photos, a sudden gust of wind slammed the attic door shut, plunging her into darkness. The air grew thick, and she felt a presence behind her. Heart racing, she turned to see a shadowy figure, a woman dressed in tattered clothing, her face twisted in anguish. "Help us," the spirit whispered, her voice a chilling echo that reverberated through the room. Terrified, Sarah stumbled back, slamming the trunk shut and racing down the stairs, her heart pounding in her chest. Desperate to uncover the truth, Sarah and David began researching the house's history. They learned that the family who once lived there, a couple and their 2 children, had vanished without a trace one stormy night. Neighbors reported strange sounds coming from the house, but no one dared to investigate. The couple's fate remained a mystery, their spirits seemingly trapped within the walls. Determined to help the restless spirits, Sarah and David set up a séance in the living room, hoping to communicate with the family. Candles flickered as they gathered around a small table, the atmosphere thick with anticipation. As they reached out to the spirits, the temperature dropped, and the room grew eerily silent. Suddenly, the candles flickered violently, and the table began to shake. A voice broke through the stillness, a guttural whisper that sent chills down their spines. "Leave, before it's too late." Ignoring the warning, they pressed on, desperate for answers. The whispers intensified, morphing into frantic cries for help. The couple's resolve began to waver as they felt the weight of the spirit's sorrow bearing down on them. Just as they were about to end the séance, the lights flickered and went out, plunging them into darkness. Panic set in, and Sarah felt a cold hand grip her wrist, pulling her toward the shadowy corner of the room. "Help us," the voices cried, now filled with rage. The walls trembled as the spirits manifested, their faces contorted with despair and anger. David shouted for Sarah, but she was frozen in place, unable to break free from the icy grip of the ghostly figure. "You have awakened us," the spirits wailed, their collective anguish echoing through the house. "You must pay for your curiosity." In a desperate attempt to escape, David lunged for the door, but it slammed shut, locking them inside. The air grew thick with malevolence as the spirits closed in, their faces twisted in rage. "You cannot leave. You must join us," they screamed, their voices merging into a cacophony of torment. Just as the darkness threatened to consume them, Sarah remembered the photographs she had found in the attic. "We're here to help you," she shouted, her voice barely rising above the chaos. "We want to set you free." The spirits hesitated, their expressions shifting from anger to confusion. In that moment of vulnerability, the couple pleaded for forgiveness, their voices breaking as they promised to unveil the truth of the family's fate. The spirits began to wail, their cries transforming into a mournful lament. The room shook violently, and the walls seemed to pulse with energy. In a final act of desperation, Sarah and David grabbed the trunk from the attic, placing the photographs in front of the spirits. "Your story will be told," they cried, tears streaming down their faces. Suddenly, the spirits began to dissipate, their anguished faces softening as they reached for the photographs. "Thank you," they whispered, their voices fading into the air. The house trembled one last time before falling silent. The door swung open, and the couple stumbled outside, gasping for breath, the weight of the haunting finally lifted. As dawn broke over Maple Grove, Sarah and David stood outside the house, the first rays of sunlight illuminating the once darkened windows. They knew they had freed the spirits, but the experience would haunt them forever. The house, now quiet, held the echoes of its tragic past, a reminder of the lives once lived and the souls that had sought vengeance. Years later, as they recounted their harrowing tale to new neighbors, they could still feel the chill of the house's memory. The whispers of the past lingered in the air, a reminder that some stories are never truly over, and some spirits may never find peace.